Here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Sons of the desert, to the town square, in order that you may pay reverent remembrance to Ulverston's first son, and sink yourselves in that unique brand of humour.
Hello, I'm Bill Cubin, the curator of the Laurel Hardy Museum here in Ulverston.
Well, what are they up to? What's your name?
Ma.
Yes.
Now, apparently I hear you have a very strange initiation ceremony to this club. Tell me all about it.
Well, we have the finger wiggle.
Right.
And then we have the easy, kneesy, nosy.
Yes, what's that?
That's it. The tie twiddle. And, of course, the hair for Stan.
I think this is brilliant.
And the beautiful thing is that Stan can actually blow his hat up with
wow.
his... How about that?
That is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Now, what have you been doing to raise money for children?
Well, there's the Laurel Hardy Fun Bus, which is in Greenodd tomorrow. Film shows all day long, and donations to the Children in Need fund.
Great, so that's where you've got to go if you're a Laurel Hardy fan. Right now,
the easy, kneesy, nosy, and of course the finger wiggle, which was a thing that Laurel Hardy did in the films.
Now, which film did they start back in?
Well, they did the easy, kneesy, nosy in a film called Fra Diavolo. Fra Diavolo, the Devil's Brother. And it was a thing, actually, that Stan did when he was a little boy, when he was here in Ulverston. And his Uncle John used to show him how to do it in Ulverston.
Now, if I give you the microphone, you seem to be able to get the kids to really take part in Laurel and Hardy. I mean, I've just got to hand it over at the end to an expert.
Sure.
Take my microphone, you get the kids going on.
Sure, right. Okay then, kids. Now we're going to do now. Come on, this way. Look at the camera. We're going to do the easy, kneesy, nosy. We've got Philip here, all the way down from Whitehaven, and let's see if you can do the easy, kneesy, nosy. Very good, very good. Can any of these children here? Can this young man from the Guild do it? Wonderful. Now, let's have 3 cheers for the telephone. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! You can do it easy, easy, nosy, fast as you like, and then the finger wiggle.
Well, Bill Cubin is here dressed up because he's a great enthusiast, and your life is dominated by Laurel and Hardy, isn't it? It's interesting, isn't it, now that if you've got this museum up in Ulverston, you could buy all those tapes because the tapes are now available, aren't they?
Yes, well, the tapes are available. Virgin are doing a big range of Laurel and Hardy, and the nice thing that they've got some early Stan Laurel, and of course early Oliver Hardy.
And you've got them all, of course, have you?
Yes, I supply them all, yes.
Now, Bill, tell me why you're dressed up with a fez with Sons of the Desert written across your brow.
This is the Laurel and Hardy Appreciation Society, the Sons of the Desert, which was formed in New York in 1965, and it's a wonderful organisation, and the great thing is that it's open to all people, young and old, ladies, men. We can all be sons of the desert and have a great time.
But why the fez?
Well, the fez, of course, from the film Fraternally Yours, where they go to a convention in Chicago. The wives, of course, think they're going to Honolulu, and there, of course, is one of the clips from the film.
And the kit is a dead takeoff of
replica.
That.
Yes, and of course I've got the Ulverston regalia and the Stan Laurel Centenary.
Yeah. Now then, you've got a museum up there in Ulverston, of which we have a photograph. I mean, tell me why you've suddenly become, well, not suddenly, but become attracted to Laurel and Hardy.
Well, I've liked Laurel and Hardy all my life, but in 1974, as mayor of the town, I had the plaque put on the house where Stan was born. And that really led to a chain of events where it was marvellous. People started coming to the town, and now everybody treats Ulverston as a mecca. It's where everybody comes.
But why you? Why do you love them so much?
Well, I just love them because the humour is good, clean, honest fun. Nothing nasty and horrible in the Laurel and Hardy film.
and I get a great deal of pleasure from watching people enjoy the films of Laurel and Hardy.
You say that, but they're knocking 7 bells out of each other most of the time.
Well,
we had the old Nutcracker in the first little clip we showed there.
Brilliant, yeah, but there's nothing nasty about a Laurel and Hardy film, and everything they do is feasible. They never do anything that's not believable, and the great thing is, and Stan, of course, was one of the great innovators of the comedy, they never carried a gag on too long. As soon as it ceased to be funny, onto another gag.
Stan was the driving force, wasn't he?
Well, no doubt about it. He worked tremendously hard behind the scenes, getting the gags. Of course, he came through Carno. I mean, Fred Carno, the Fred Carno circus with Chaplin, and he was born in the theatre, so he knew the life, he knew the gags, and he knew what made people laugh.
Tell me, what's going on in Ulverston on Saturday?
Oh, great day. We've got a wonderful parade of the tents of the Sons of the Desert. They're coming from all over the world.
The tent is the group.
Is the group, yes.
Yeah. How many have you got of those?
Well, in the UK, some 35 tents, but worldwide, 60, 70. Some 10,000 people who worldwide enjoy the humour of Laurel and Hardy. And, of course, at night, we've got a great concert. We've got a wonderful celebrity concert, which is a tribute to Stan.
Yeah, who's turning up for that, do you know?
Well, I've got 1 or 2 really first-class acts and turns. We have a musical of Laurel and Hardy, done by 2 boys from Manchester. We have a boy from Holland who's actually written a song, and he's going to perform it on the night.
And they'll all be dressed like that, the people who come, will they?
Yes, fezzes, sashes, with Model T Ford cars, with 3 bands, we've got majorette groups, we've got the whole world coming to Ulverston on Saturday.
It must be a terrific sight.
It's going to be great. The town's decked with bunting, and the whole townspeople are really joining in the fun.
It's your life now, isn't it?
Yes, my whole life is dedicated to Laurel and Hardy, and what better life could you have?
Yes, really. Well, have a terrific time. It sounds brilliant. I hope the weather's nice for you.
I hope so.
How many are coming, do you think?
Well, Sons of the Desert, some 600.
600.
But the whole town is going to be decked out, and we're going to have a great time.
Super. Thanks very much indeed for popping down to tell us about it. Have a great day. I hope the weather's fine for you.
Thanks very much, Frank.
Well, that's it for this edition.
Really know you can sing. 1, 2, 3. We are the sons of the desert, having the time of our lives, marching along, 2,000 strong, far from our sweethearts and wives, God bless them. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching, attesting to this melody. La 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 la. Sons of the desert are we. Right, I'd like to remind you that on this very balcony in 1947 stood Laurel and Hardy. They were here doing the tour of the Moss Empire theatres, and they're actually on this balcony where we are standing. So this is a wonderful thing that we can stand actually here on the balcony where Stan and Ollie appeared when they were touring the United Kingdom in 1947. So we'll form up again. Let's go down to see where Stan was born. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Sons of the Desert, I welcome you here to the 10th meeting of the Ulverston Birthmarks Tent. And I would like to say tonight we have with us the Grand Sheik of the Sons of the Desert Tent, Ashton-under-Lyne. And we will now get down to the serious part of the business.
What's your name?
Mark Greenhouse.
But who are you pretending to be then?
Stan Laurel.
Well, when your granddad is the the Laurel and Hardy guy, and he's appearing on telly in bright yellow jumpers and fezzes and sashes, oh, it was the most embarrassing thing in the world.
Are you dressed like that for a bet? Why are you dressed like that?
Well, this is the fun regalia of the Sons of the Desert, the Laurel and Hardy Appreciation Society, which is just a fun thing. I mean, this world today, we need some laughter, and Laurel and Hardy have provided it. Well, during my term of office, the plaque was put on the house at Argyle Street.
As mayor, he had a special plaque placed on the house where Stan Laurel was born.
Shortly after the plaque was put on the house, the lady that lived there died, and
this is the house in Argyle Street.
In Argyle Street, and the house was completely gutted, and a lot of the furniture was thrown away, and some of it found its way into here.
Bill admits he's nuts about Laurel and Hardy. He runs the world's only official museum dedicated to the duo. It's stuffed full of memorabilia.
At the last count, there were over 10,000 items.
I started the museum because I always enjoyed collecting Laurel and Hardy material, and when the house was sold in Argyle Street, I was able to collect some of the old furniture, and the whole thing, like Topsy, just grew. I would think over the last 15 years the whole thing's come together, and now virtually every day of life I get something new for the museum.
The exhibits range from a tin of Stan's favourite treacle toffee to autographed pictures. But Bill's favourite memento is an ashtray.
Stan had a stroke. He lost the use of his left arm and left leg, and he was very difficult to move around, and he had a little ashtray which fitted on his hand, jammed on his hand, and that he was very, very pleased about right till he died, and it was one of his most famous favourite items.
For some people, young and old alike, Laurel and Hardy's brand of humour is more than just a source of amusement. It's a way of life. Their film, Sons of the Desert, gave its name to the international fan club who hold regular meetings to discuss their common interest.
And now to Oliver Laurel Hardy. Well, in the museum you'll see there's no parking here. This, by the way, is from Oral Wigan. 3 cheers for Stan. Where's Stanley? Stan Hilton is in there. You'll have to come this. That's no. I used to be absolutely astounded at the love and devotion, but now I accept it because I'm myself completely won over by Laurel and Hardy.
In Ulverston, een onooglijk dorpje in het Engelse Lake District, bevindt zich het Laurel and Hardy Museum. Thijs Okkersen nam er een kijkje en sprak en passant ook nog met de dochter van Laurel. Terug naar de roots van 2 lachenbekjes van het eerste uur, Laurel en Hardy.
...70 jaar geleden traden Stan Laurel en Oliver Hardy voor het eerst samen op in de korte film Lucky Dog. Nog niet als een comedy-team, dat gebeurde pas 10 jaar later. In 1890 werd Stan Laurel in het plaatsje Ulverston in het Engelse Lake District geboren. Daar is hij nog niet vergeten.
Bill, this is Stan Laurel's house, the house where he was born, right?
Yes, this is the house. Stan was born here on June 16th, 1890. His grandparents lived here, Mr. and Mrs. Metcalfe, and of course his mother was a local girl, and his father, Arthur Jefferson, Stan's father, had a small theatre called the Hippodrome right opposite the house in further up Argyle Street. In fact, this street on Stan's birth certificate was known as Foundry Cottages. It was changed early in the 19th century. For some reason, they wanted to change the name from Foundry Cottages to Argyle Street.
Things, Will.
Well, this is the Laurel and Hardy Museum.
Everything is there, right?
Yes. Follow me around, I'll show you some of the personal items I have belonging to Stan.
Okay.
Perhaps my most treasured item is this little ashtray, which was sent to me by Jack McCabe. And the nice story is that Stan, in fact, repaired it with an odd screw. This was from his apartment in Santa Monica.
It's an ashtray.
This little ashtray. This book, which was a cocktail book, given by Stan to his valet, Jimmy Murphy, who, incidentally, after he worked for Stan, worked for Joan Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
And there's every cocktail known in 1933. It's by the Savoy Hotel in London. Another very, very treasured item is this little silver cigarette case, which is inscribed A.J., Arthur Jefferson, and it was presented to Stan's father from the Eden Theatre in Bishop Auckland.
Well, there's a piano here. Where does that come from?
A lot of these items came from Argyle Street when the house was sold. The people that lived in the house completely remodernised, and all the items were available, and I got them for the museum.
So they belong to Stan's parents?
His grandparents.
His grandparents?
Yes, not his parents, his grandparents.
So, this too?
Yes, the old sideboard, the old piano, pictures, mirrors, clocks, and I've even got the old washing machine here. And this came from Stan's grandmother's house. It's the washing machine. I'm sure Stan's Smalls would be in here, and they used to dolly the water and then poss it, and of course finish off by rinsing and then putting Dolly Blue in, which was the modern way of doing in 1900.
So most probably Stan's diapers were in
I'm
there.
sure they would be. Yeah.
But why don't you have the original black hats and the black costumes?
Well, sadly, in one of Stan's letters, he explains the reason why they're no longer available. They were given to the Salvation Army and other such groups because Stan thought it would do some good. But obviously, they probably would just, I don't know, give them away. But it's sad that none of the original props from the films, certainly from the Hal Roach Studios, are available.
They're all gone.
All gone.
Let's look a little bit further. There's some more books here, but some of them are quite recent.
Yeah, you want some pretty old stuff.
Well, let's look over here. What is this? There, look at this. This is quite.
Oh, this is special. This belonged to Stan Laurel's father, Arthur Jefferson, and you can see the original little pencils are still there. It folded up, and even the original blotting paper.
And he was a playwright, right?
He
And
wrote
an actor.
melodramas.
Yeah.
On Stan's birth certificate, he says that he's a comedian, but Stan's father definitely must have carried this round the whole country and written plays and all sorts of items. Stan's father went to live with Stan's sister Beatrice, and in fact died in Grantham, Lincolnshire.
Are there still many relatives around?
Well, yes. The nearest relative in the United Kingdom is in Dewsbury, Nancy Wardell. She is the daughter of Mary, Stan's cousin, and Nancy, of course, has been very helpful and given me lots of material and, well, information basically about Stan.
So it's if you meet somebody here who looks like Stan Laurel, then it's not unlikely that might happen, because there's so many relatives here. And,
yes, well, Nellie Bushby was the last relative. She died 4 years ago in Ulverston. So as far as I know, there are no relatives in Ulverston, but certainly there are in Yorkshire, in Dewsbury.
Have you met somebody who looked like him?
There are quite a few people around that look like Stan. Because Stan had red hair too, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not family. Look at that. This is nice. A beautiful photograph.
Yes,
and
nice.
here's
Anita Garvin. Yes.
She's still alive, right?
She is still, yes, she's in the Motion Picture Hospital in Los Angeles.
What about this one?
Well, that's a little item from, a little potty from under the bed, again from Argyle Street.
Bill, your whole life is dedicated to Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy with this beautiful museum. Why are they so important to you?
Well, I've always liked Laurel and Hardy, and ever since I became interested some 12, 13 years ago, it's really become perhaps an obsession. But I get a lot of pleasure from Laurel and Hardy and from the people I meet as a result of them coming to the museum and me travelling around.
But why are they so important as comedians?
Well, I think Laurel and Hardy were really special. They're very visual, good, clean fun, never anything nasty in a Laurel and Hardy film. And the more you watch a Laurel and Hardy film, the more you see in it, and the more you appreciate the complete timing and genius, really, of Laurel and Hardy.
So you still laugh at the boys?
Oh, I laugh. I see the same film sometimes 3 and 4 times a day, and I still cannot stop laughing.